A little bit later today, a judge in West Palm Beach, Florida, will hear arguments from Donald Trump's lawyers and the Justice Department about whether a special master should review the documents seized at Mar-a-Lago. Overnight, Trump's legal team delivered its paper argument in favor. The Trump lawyers made several points defending the document presence at Trump's beach resort, but did not deny that the documents were classified. In their court filing, they wrote, quote, "The purported justification for the initiation of this criminal probe was the alleged discovery of sensitive information contained within the 15 boxes of presidential records. But this discovery was to be fully anticipated, given the very nature of presidential records. Simply put, the notion that presidential records will contain sensitive information should never have been a cause for alarm."
Okay, so Trump just got absolutely destroyed in appeals court, and it was not some liberal activist judge doing the destroying. It was a conservative appeals court. It was a conservative panel. It was judges that Trump thought would be on Trump's side, and those judges came down on Trump like a hammer. Those judges said Trump's lawsuits are frivolous. Those judges said Trump's claims are baseless. Those judges said Trump's conduct is an abuse of the judicial system, and those judges made Trump pay nearly $1 million. And that's just the beginning. There's more bad news coming. There's more legal defeats. There's more financial hits. And Trump is panicking. Trump is absolutely losing it right now. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us. Be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video.
Donald Trump has been handed yet another loss after a federal judge dismissed his $475 million defamation lawsuit against CNN. Trump claimed the network's use of the term "the big lie" was equivalent to comparing him to Adolf Hitler. The lawsuit also argued the references hurt his reputation and political career. Okay. But the judge, who was, we should note, appointed by Donald Trump, ruled CNN's statements don't meet the standard of defamation, writing this: CNN's use of the phrase "the big lie" in connection with Trump's election challenges does not give rise to a plausible inference that Trump advocates the persecution and genocide of Jews or any other group of people. No reasonable viewer could or should plausibly make that reference. The big lie also would be a good title for a...
Here's what happened. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled on 2 different Trump cases, 2 separate decisions, 2 separate devastating rulings against Trump, all in the span of just a few days. First, on November 18th, the appeals court rejected Trump's lawsuit against CNN. Trump wanted $475 million from CNN. Trump was suing over the term "big lie." CNN used the term "big lie" to describe Trump's false election claims. Trump said that was defamation. Trump wanted to sue CNN for saying he's a liar, but the appeals court said no. The appeals court said "big lie" is protected opinion. The appeals court said CNN has the right to call Trump a liar. The appeals court said Trump's lawsuit has no merit. Trump lost. And then just a few days later, on November 26th, the same court ruled again, this time on the Hillary Clinton lawsuit. Trump has sued Hillary Clinton and James Comey in the DNC for supposedly orchestrating the Russia investigation. Trump wanted to use RICO charges. Trump wanted to claim conspiracy. Trump wanted to claim fraud. But the lawsuit was ridiculous. The lawsuit was full of claims that made no sense. The lawsuit included malicious prosecution claims without a prosecution. The lawsuit included trade secret claims without identifying any trade secrets. The lawsuit was basically garbage, and the appeals court agreed. The appeals court said the lawsuit was frivolous. The appeals court said it was an abuse of judicial resources, and the appeals court made Trump pay nearly $1 million in sanctions. Nearly $1 million. That's real money. That's the kind of money that gets Trump's attention. That's the kind of penalty that shows judges are serious. And these rulings came from conservative judges. The chief judge on the Clinton case is William Pryor. Pryor is a George W. Bush appointee. Pryor is a conservative judge. Pryor is the kind of judge Trump thought would help Trump. But Pryor looked at Trump's lawsuit and said it's frivolous. Pryor said it's an abuse of resources. Pryor said Trump has to pay. And the panel was unanimous. All 3 judges agreed. Conservative judges all said Trump is in the wrong. And on the CNN case, 2 of the judges were Trump appointees. Trump appointed them. Trump thought they would be loyal. But those judges looked at Trump's defamation lawsuit and said it has no merit. Those judges said Trump didn't prove falsity. Those judges said Trump's case should be dismissed. So even Trump's own appointees are ruling against Trump. Even judges Trump thought would help Trump are telling Trump that Trump's lawsuits are garbage. That's shocking. That's devastating for Trump. That's driving Trump absolutely insane. Come on, this is massive. Trump is panicking. DC is erupting. The legal system is striking hard at Trump, even though the criminal cases are gone. Okay, let me walk you through exactly what these rulings say and what they mean, because you need to understand how harsh these decisions are and how much they damage Trump's credibility. Let's start with the Clinton lawsuit, because that one is really clear and really brutal. Judge Donald Middlebrooks had already ruled that Trump's lawsuit was frivolous and imposed sanctions. Now the appeals court was reviewing that decision. The appeals court was asking, did Middlebrooks get it right? Did Middlebrooks properly find that the lawsuit was frivolous? Did Middlebrooks properly sanction Trump? And Chief Judge William Pryor looked at the lawsuit and agreed with everything Middlebrooks said. Pryor agreed that the lawsuit was full of baseless claims. Pryor agreed that the RICO claim didn't work because Trump didn't allege a RICO violation. Pryor agreed that the malicious prosecution claim was ridiculous because there was no prosecution. Pryor agreed that the trade secret claim made no sense because Trump didn't identify any actual trade secrets. Pryor looked at every claim in Trump's lawsuit and found that every claim was defective. Every claim violated the basic requirements of the cause of action. Every claim was frivolous, and Pryor wrote, in his opinion, that the lawsuit was an abuse of judicial resources. Pryor was essentially saying that Trump wasted everyone's time with this lawsuit. Trump filed claims that shouldn't have been filed. Trump filed claims that Trump should have known would fail. Trump was abusing the courts by filing meritless claims, and Pryor said that Middlebrooks was right to sanction Trump. Pryor said that Trump and Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, had to pay nearly $1 million for this abuse. And Pryor also noted that Trump is a sophisticated litigant. Sophisticated means Trump knows the law. Trump knows what constitutes a valid legal claim. Trump knows what elements are required for a RICO claim or a malicious prosecution claim. But Trump filed claims anyway that Trump should have known would fail. That suggests deliberate abuse. That suggests Trump was not just making an honest mistake, but was deliberately filing frivolous claims. And Pryor was saying that sanctionable conduct, that's the kind of conduct that gets people ordered to pay money. Now let's talk about the CNN case, because that one is also important. Trump sued CNN for defamation. Trump claimed that when CNN said big lie to describe his false election claims, that was defamation. Defamation is when you say something false about someone that damages their reputation. But here's the thing, big lie is opinion. Big lie is not a statement of fact. Big lie is commentary. Big lie is Trump's critics saying Trump is a liar. Big lie is an evaluation of Trump's conduct, not a factual claim. And defamation law doesn't protect opinions. Defamation law says you can't say false facts about someone, but you can express opinions. You can call someone a liar. You can say someone's election claims are false. That's protected speech. That's opinion. And CNN's use of big lie is protected opinion. CNN has the right to characterize Trump's election claims however CNN wants. CNN has the right to call them the big lie. That's protected speech. And the appeals court agreed. The appeals court said big lie is protected opinion. The appeals court said Trump didn't show that CNN said anything false. The appeals court said Trump failed to meet the basic requirements of a defamation claim. And the appeals court dismissed Trump's lawsuit. 3 judges looking at Trump's lawsuit said it doesn't work. Trump's lawsuit has no merit. Trump loses. And here's what's really important. 2 of those judges were Trump appointees. Trump put those judges on the bench. Trump thought those judges would be loyal to Trump. But those judges looked at Trump's lawsuit and said Trump's case doesn't work. Those Trump appointees ruled against Trump. Those judges protected CNN's free speech rights. Those judges didn't help Trump. Those judges did their job as judges, and that job involved ruling against Trump. Now let's talk about what this means in the broader context. Trump has been losing consistently in courts. Trump has been losing in civil courts. Trump has been losing in appellate courts. And every time Trump loses, Trump faces financial consequences. Every time Trump loses, Trump's credibility with courts declines. Every time Trump loses, judges become more skeptical of Trump's future claims. Think about what happens the next time Trump goes to court. Think about Trump making legal arguments. Judges are going to remember that Trump filed frivolous claims. Judges are going to remember that courts have found Trump's lawsuits to be meritless. Judges are going to start from a position of skepticism. Judges are going to presume that Trump's claims lack merit. Judges are going to look for reasons to rule against Trump because Trump has built a pattern of losing and filing frivolous claims. And here's what's also important. These are civil cases. These are not criminal cases. But civil cases matter because they show Trump's credibility. Civil cases show whether Trump can succeed in courts when Trump is trying to attack enemies. Civil cases show whether Trump's legal strategy works, and the answer is no. Trump's legal strategy doesn't work. Trump's lawsuits fail, Trump's claims are rejected, and Trump has to pay the consequences. And think about what this means for Trump's broader legal strategy. Trump has been trying to use courts as a political weapon. Trump has been trying to sue enemies. Trump has been trying to attack critics. Trump has been trying to use litigation to destroy opponents. But courts are rejecting that. Courts are saying no. Courts are saying Trump's claims are frivolous. Courts are saying Trump's lawsuits are abusive. And courts are making Trump pay for trying to weaponize the courts. That's a complete failure of Trump's legal strategy. Okay, let me break this down into the three main points that matter about these appeals court rulings, because this is important for understanding how serious this is and what it means for Trump going forward. First point, and this is documented in the appellate opinion, on November 18, 2025, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals rejected Trump's defamation lawsuit against CNN on a vote that included 2 Trump-appointed judges, holding that CNN's use of the term big lie to describe Trump's false election claims constituted protected opinion, and that Trump failed to demonstrate the falsity required for defamation, resulting in dismissal of the case, with Trump receiving nothing. This is a complete loss for Trump. Conservative judges, including Trump's own appointees, said Trump's lawsuit has no merit. Second point, and this is equally important, on November 26, 2025, the same 11th Circuit panel unanimously upheld nearly $938,000 in sanctions against Trump and Alina Habba for their lawsuit against Hillary Clinton, with Chief Judge William Pryor agreeing with the district court that the lawsuit was an abuse of judicial resources, that Trump's claims, including a malicious prosecution claim without a prosecution and trade secret claims without identified trade secrets, were indeed frivolous, and that Middlebrooks properly sanctioned Trump for this conduct. So you've got unanimous agreement, you've got conservative judges, you've got Trump having to pay money. Third point, and this is the broader context, these civil court losses are part of a pattern where Trump continues to suffer major defeats in appellate and civil courts, including the CNN ruling, the Clinton sanctions, the E. Jean Carroll verdicts, and the now reduced New York fraud judgment. While the criminal cases have been paused or dropped due to DOJ policy on sitting presidents, meaning that even though Trump is no longer facing criminal prosecution, his civil legal liabilities remain substantial, and his credibility with courts has been severely damaged by repeated judicial findings that his claims are frivolous and abusive. So the civil cases are still moving forward. Trump is still losing. Trump is still facing financial consequences. Now let's talk about what this moment means for Trump and for Washington. This is a shock. This is unexpected in some ways because Trump has been focused on the criminal cases. Trump has been focused on whether Trump will be prosecuted. But the civil cases have been quietly moving forward. And now the civil cases are delivering devastating rulings. Now the civil cases are showing that Trump's legal position is weak. Now the civil cases are showing that even conservative judges think Trump's claims are frivolous. And Washington is noticing. Washington is paying attention. People in Congress are noticing. People in the media are noticing. People watching Trump are noticing. Trump is losing. Trump is losing to conservative judges. Trump is losing to judges he appointed. Trump is being told repeatedly by courts that Trump's claims have no merit. That's devastating for Trump's credibility. That's devastating for Trump's image as a successful businessman and a strong leader. Think about what it means that Trump-appointed judges ruled against Trump. Think about what that says about Trump's judgment in selecting judges. Trump thought these judges would be loyal. Trump thought these judges would help Trump. But those judges looked at Trump's lawsuit and said it's frivolous. Those judges did their job. Those judges followed the law. Those judges ruled against Trump. That's humiliating for Trump. That's the judges Trump appointed refusing to help Trump. And think about the financial impact. Nearly $1 million in one case, hundreds of millions in other cases. E. Jean Carroll verdicts, the New York fraud judgment. All of these are adding up. Trump is paying millions of dollars in civil judgments. Trump is paying millions of dollars in sanctions. Trump's legal team is spending millions of dollars on attorneys and appeals. This is costing Trump real money that Trump could use for other things, real money that Trump could use for campaigns, real money that Trump could use for Trump's business. Instead, the money is going to pay court judgments. And here's what's important about the timing. This is happening while Trump is in office. This is happening while Trump is president. Trump is sitting in the White House as president, and Trump is losing in courts. Trump is getting sanctioned. Trump is being told by judges that Trump's claims are frivolous. That's a terrible position for Trump to be in. That's weakening Trump's image. That's undermining Trump's authority. That's showing that Trump is not as strong and powerful as Trump claims to be. Now let's talk about what this means for future Trump lawsuits. What happens when Trump files the next lawsuit? What happens when Trump tries to sue someone else? Judges are going to remember these rulings. Judges are going to remember that Trump filed frivolous claims. Judges are going to be skeptical of Trump's motives. Judges are going to assume that Trump is trying to abuse the court system. And judges are going to be more likely to rule against Trump because judges have seen a pattern. Judges have seen that Trump files meritless claims. Judges have seen that Trump abuses the court system. Judges are not going to give Trump the benefit of the doubt anymore. That's a huge disadvantage for Trump going forward. That's going to make it much harder for Trump to win cases. That's going to make Trump's legal strategy less effective. Trump tried to use courts as a political weapon, but courts rejected that. Trump tried to file frivolous claims, but courts sanctioned Trump for it. Trump tried to sue enemies, but courts ruled that the claims were meritless. Trump's legal strategy has failed. Trump's credibility with courts has been destroyed, and Trump is going to continue to lose. Think about what this means psychologically for Trump. Trump likes to win. Trump likes to project strength. Trump likes to claim that Trump is successful and powerful. But Trump is losing in courts. Trump is losing to conservative judges. Trump is being sanctioned. Trump is being told that Trump's claims are frivolous. That has to be humiliating for Trump. That has to be driving Trump absolutely crazy. And Trump can't do anything about it. Trump can appeal. Trump can fight. Trump can use Trump's legal team. But Trump is losing anyway. Trump's own appointees are ruling against Trump. Conservative judges are ruling against Trump. Trump has no one to blame but Trump. Trump's strategy doesn't work on against Trump. Trump has no one to blame but Trump. Trump's claims are weak. Trump's lawyers are losing, and Trump has to accept it. Now let's talk about what this means in terms of the impeachment articles that are already filed. The impeachment articles accuse Trump of abuse of power. The impeachment articles accuse Trump of tyranny. The impeachment articles accuse Trump of trying to subvert the Constitution's checks and balances. And these court rulings provide evidence of that. These court rulings show that Trump is abusing the court system. These court rulings show that Trump is using courts as a political weapon. These court rulings show that Trump is trying to weaponize justice to attack enemies. And that's exactly what the impeachment articles are describing. So these rulings give ammunition to people pushing for impeachment. These rulings give evidence that Trump is abusing his power. These rulings give proof that Trump is trying to weaponize institutions. And people in Congress are going to point to these rulings. People pushing for impeachment are going to cite these cases. People are going to say, look, courts have found that Trump is abusing the court system. Therefore, Trump is unfit to be president. Therefore, Trump should be impeached. And here's what's also important. The civil courts are functioning. The civil courts are not under Trump's control. Trump can't control what appellate judges do. Trump can't control what civil judges do. Trump can only watch as courts rule against Trump. And that's showing that at least some parts of the system are still working. At least some judges are still independent. At least some courts are still willing to stand up to Trump and tell Trump no. But the question is, for how long? The question is whether Trump is going to retaliate against these judges. The question is whether Trump is going to try to attack these judges. The question is whether Trump is going to demand that these judges be removed or impeached. Because if Trump does that, if Trump retaliates against judges who ruled against Trump, that's an attack on judicial independence. That's an assault on the rule of law. That's exactly the kind of conduct that justifies impeachment. Here's why this moment matters for everyone watching this right now. This is a moment when the system is showing that it still works. This is a moment when independent judges are ruling against Trump. This is a moment when the courts are protecting themselves from abuse. This is a moment when Trump is being held accountable by the judicial system, and that matters. That's important. That's democracy functioning. But it also shows the fragility of the system. The civil courts are independent, but the criminal cases are paused. The appellate judges are ruling against Trump, but Trump might retaliate. The judges are resisting Trump, but Trump has resources and power. The system is working, but it's fragile. The system is working, but Trump is testing it. The system is working, but Trump is trying to break it. And nobody knows whether the system will survive if Trump keeps pushing. So to bring it all together, on November 18 and November 26, 2025, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals delivered devastating rulings against Trump in two separate cases. The court rejected Trump's defamation lawsuit against CNN, with two Trump-appointed judges voting against Trump. The court unanimously upheld nearly $938,000 in sanctions against Trump for his frivolous lawsuit against Hillary Clinton. Chief Judge William Pryor, a conservative appointee, called the lawsuit an abuse of judicial resources and agreed that Trump's claims were frivolous. These rulings show that even conservative judges and Trump appointees are willing to rule against Trump when Trump's claims are meritless. These rulings add to a pattern of Trump losing in civil courts. These rulings damage Trump's credibility with the judicial system. This is shocking because Trump thought these judges would help Trump. This is devastating because Trump is facing real financial consequences. This is significant because it shows that some part of the system is still functioning independently. This is important because it provides evidence that Trump is abusing the courts. And this is happening while Trump is president. This is happening while Trump is sitting in the White House. This is undermining Trump's authority and Trump's image. Think about what this means going forward. Think about Trump continuing to lose in courts. Think about Trump facing more sanctions. Think about Trump's legal credibility continuing to decline. Think about judges becoming increasingly skeptical of Trump's claims. Think about Trump's strategy of using courts as a political weapon, completely failing. That's where this is heading. That's what these rulings show. That's what the future looks like if Trump keeps filing frivolous lawsuits. And this is probably not going to stop Trump from filing more lawsuits. Trump is going to keep suing people. Trump is going to keep trying to attack enemies through courts. Trump is going to keep filing claims that courts will reject. And Trump is going to keep losing. Trump is going to keep getting sanctioned. Trump is going to keep facing financial consequences. Because Trump doesn't learn. Trump doesn't change based on feedback. Trump just keeps fighting no matter how many times Trump loses. So these court rulings are just the beginning. These are the shock rulings that are getting attention right now, but there are going to be more rulings. There are going to be more sanctions. There are going to be more defeats. And as Trump keeps losing, as Trump keeps getting sanctioned, the pattern becomes more obvious. The pattern becomes that Trump abuses the courts. The pattern becomes that Trump files frivolous claims. The pattern becomes that Trump weaponizes litigation. And that pattern is going to be used against Trump politically. That pattern is going to be cited in impeachment articles. That pattern is going to be evidence of Trump's unfitness to serve. Stay tuned, because more court rulings are coming. Trump's other cases are still pending. Trump's legal problems are not going away. Trump is facing continued financial pressure. Trump is facing continued sanctions. Trump is facing continued losses. And with each new ruling, with each new defeat, the case against Trump becomes stronger. The evidence that Trump abuses the courts becomes clearer. The argument that Trump should be impeached becomes more powerful. And eventually, all of this is going to catch up with Trump. Eventually, the accumulated weight of all these defeats is going to change the political landscape. Eventually, Trump is going to face real consequences for abusing the courts and abusing the judicial system.